What's up heroes, and welcome to the Ultimate Iron Fist guide. Iron Fist is an amazing melee hero with huge potential and incredibly fast time to kill, but only if he's used correctly. In this guide I'll be taking you through Iron Fist's combos, strengths, weaknesses, advanced tips and more. So without further ado, let's move on to the first step of playing Iron Fist, which is for his weapon. Iron Fist has his Jeet Kune Do, where he fires a series of attacks and pushes the enemy back with the last attack. One thing to consider about this character is that he can lock on to enemies with his basic attack even if he's not in melee range. There will be an indicator on the enemy which tells you if you can hit the enemy or not. Next up on our point, we have his Dragon's Defense, or the Block. This is the most important ability for Iron Fist. Activating this will make you invincible to all attacks for 2 seconds, and the amount of damage blocked will then convert to Overshield for Iron Fist, and that Overshield is kept when his health reaches 400 in total. After those 2 seconds, Iron Fist will activate his other attack, which is the Yadji. This converts his attack to rapid fire and increases the amount of damage per second for the next few seconds. When his dragon's defense is on cooldown, he can use his basic attack to reduce the cooldown of that ability. Okay, let's move on to his next ability, which is the Dragon Kick. Dragon Kick dashes Iron Fist forward, doing damage to whoever is in front and then kicks anyone who is near to Iron Fist in a circular motion. The radius of this is pretty big, so you can use it to finish off enemies who are really low. Iron Fist's next ability is his Harmony Recovery, where he meditates and regenerates his health, and while doing so, he can also gain an extra 50 Overshield. Unlike normal Overshields, this shield doesn't go away passively and instead stays until damage is taken. For his passive, Iron Fist has a triple jump which he can use to reach higher places. There's a 1 second cooldown for each jump and it won't come back unless you touch the ground or start wall running. Speaking of wall running, that's Iron Fist's second passive, where he can horizontally run on walls. If you combine these two, then you can reach higher platforms which wouldn't be normally possible. And lastly, we have his ultimate, which is called the Living Sheath. Activating this will convert his attack to its rapid fire form and also increase the damage range of his melee. His ultimate also increases his mobility and also reduces the cooldown of his dragon's defense to as low as 3 seconds. Those were Iron Fist's abilities. Now let's move on to the next section of the video, which is Iron Fist is a 4-star difficulty hero, making him pretty hard to master. Maybe not as hard as Psylocke or Spider-Man, but still pretty difficult to learn. The role of Iron Fist is to kill squishy heroes of the opposing team, or the backline to be more specific. But the problem is the lack of mobility for Iron Fist. Okay, I know what you might be thinking, but just hear me out. Though Iron Fist has triple jumps and a dash as his mobility, it's not really enough to get him into the backline and then just get out of there like nothing happened. Now that's because of his cooldown for his dash. His dash has a 12-second cooldown, which makes it difficult for you to use it to get into a fight and get out of there like nothing happened. Instead, it becomes a decision for you to make for whether you'll use it to get into a fight or whether you'll use it to get out of a fight, because you can't really use it for both. Other heroes like Spider-Man allow him to easily get into the backline and then right out of it with the use of his 3 swings, whereas the Iron Fist mainly only has the 1 dash every 12 seconds. Now let's move on to the next part of the guide, which is Iron Fist is a really strong hero if he can find himself in 1v1 situations. The time to kill with Iron Fist is pretty fast, and his block gives you a good advantage in 1v1s. But the thing is, he can't really create those 1v1 situations by himself. Iron Fist can also handle flyers really well, as he can just lock onto enemies and basically track them through the air. Tip number 1 would be to wait out in cover of the opposing team's backline and then push up on heroes who are a bit too far back off the backline, so that you can catch them off guard, resulting in a simple 1v1 to clean up the enemy. Save up your dash to escape from bad situations. You will constantly be caught up in bad situations with this character, so having a dash will really help you out in that scenario. His meditation ability gives him extra health, so make sure you use it before you engage in a fight. So when you are fighting, it's on cooldown, and once you're out of the fight, you can use it again. While on the same topic, the meditation ability makes Iron Fist float in the air for a few seconds, so you can kind of hide on top of enemies while also healing up. Iron Fist does extra damage to targets with less than 50% health, so he can easily kill low HP targets, but make sure to not to overcommit and get yourself in a bad situation. All in all, Iron Fist is an amazing duelist with great potential. You gotta know his strengths and weaknesses with this hero and always think twice before you use your dash, so you certainly won't find yourself in a bad situation. Just follow these tips and you'll excel with Iron Fist in no time. Let me know which character you'd like to see a guide on next, and I'll see you in the next one, heroes.